Turn it up, we're on air, 33 degrees, we right here. Voices spinning like tires burning, America's
What's up,
heartbeat,
everybody? I'm
always
Jay,
turning.
I'm Kenny.
and this is 33 Degrees. A little different. I'm in
A little different.
Chicago. I'm in
Yeah.
Chicago. Uh,
Chi-town.
yeah, but I'm not seeing a race, and it's like 20 degrees out, so it's not
Yeah,
really.
you can have that.
So, last race, Atlanta Motor Speedway. Really, really crazy race, but leading up to it, there was all this talk about Carson Hocevar and how he's the next Dale Earnhardt. he's the coming. But then
Uh,
you have everybody talking trash about him. Like when is he gonna either win his first race or when is his behavior going to be checked by NASCAR, that sort of thing. There was some other crap that was going on in the news with a couple of the female drivers showing
mm,
their mommy milkers,
the
and
breasticles.
yeah, they're a lot of folks are not very happy. So there's some tension there, but
I
it
was,
it
I was,
looks. What is that?
I said I was terrified.
I
I
mean,
was, I was so sad.
so I didn't lose any sleep.
I
So,
sure didn't either.
but it seems like NASCAR is full steam ahead. 2311. I think I got the
Oh my
text from
God.
you. Maybe it's a seat at the table.
Yes. Pull up a chair, Michael Jordan. Have a seat.
Incredible race. But let's start from the beginning. No pole. There was
No,
no.
Paul. Got rained out. What are you going to do? You know?
I mean, maybe do it in the rain.
Oh no, we're not doing another one of those. 21 mile an hour top speed. Not at this track. Not at this track, sir.
But so it's pretty crazy. I don't know the full rules. I just know that they were implemented a few years ago, and they used those rules, which put Reddick, of course, at the P1 position. I think Logano was at two, and then they just kind of fell in. But the race didn't it didn't
Did
really
not
start
disappoint.
that way. It
Oh
was a little
no,
unique.
no, yeah,
So stage one, what
yeah.
what do you think?
You know what surprised me the most is how quickly some drivers that started at the back were able to move up to the front. You know, Austin Cindric, I think he started like 30th, around 30th or something like that,
Yes.
and drove all the way up to the front. You know, the Fords look good. Bubba looked good during the first stage. I mean, he
Yeah, ain't gonna lie,
practically
Bubba was looking good.
Bubba looking like Bubba. I mean,
Yeah.
he was, um, led most of stage one. In fact, he stayed up there for well, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but he stayed up there for most of the day. So I
Yeah.
thought it kind of impressed me.
He I regardless of what anybody wants to say, you've said it before, he drives with a lot of emotion, but I felt like Toyota was smoking. Just their
Yeah,
cars were just
yeah.
absolutely locked in.
I mean, he
Ford was
really
great.
set the. You're right. He set the pace of the race from the beginning, and he's one of the fastest cars in the draft. So Toyota had really good speed. Fords could move throughout the field any way they wanted, and then you left Chevy just trying to react to all the cars going by. I'm like, what are we supposed to do?
Yeah,
You know?
it was kind of
So
weird. We had a comment from somebody on Facebook that, well, first they were very sad that we talked about Blaney and his off season because he was a new dad.
what she called them something. I forgot what it was.
I don't care what she called him; it doesn't matter. His mustache is clearly not working for him in the race. But it was also, I was reading a couple of things, and people were talking about before, Atlanta, it was Toyota was blocking and they weren't letting anybody get through. We were kind of
I
seeing the
said it.
same thing. No,
Yeah,
I know it was you, but I wasn't going to say that on camera. That was you, but there was other people that said there was
it's
other people
definitely
that said it. But what was crazy is they're still doing it. It doesn't matter if it's Toyota. It doesn't matter if it's Ford. They're trying to set their own deal. And stage one, was just kind of wild in the sense of lead change, and then who finished stage one as the winner?
Stage one was Austin Cindric, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, but then we don't really hear about him after. We
Yeah.
don't really.
Well, I think he was just excited to work his way from the back to the front, and he's like, "All right, I win. Let's go park it."
He's the only normal looking one from Penske, anyways.
Yes, yes. He has turned himself. When I first saw him, I was like, "Man, this guy's weird," and he has turned himself into the only normal person there.
He looks like a computer engineer, somebody that's going to work on some apps.
Yes, yes, yes. I figured out a way to make my car faster.
But then, he did. And then kind of stage two. Like, walk us through stage two, because this one was kind of.
Stage two was interesting. Stage two was, you know, if we start at the beginning of stage two, I don't know. I'm kind of a backwards cut, anyways. But if you think of the end of stage two, you kind of already knew who the contenders were at that point. You knew who the fast cars have all moved to the front and kind of stayed there, and the rest were just trying to recover. But
except Carson Hocevar. Carson Hocevar, he was 2 laps down.
You know what? And what's interesting about that is that there were enough cautions in this race that it bunched the crowd back up, and it allowed somebody who's 2 laps down to race for the win at the very end. So not to jump too far ahead of ourselves, but
right.
I think by stage two, Bubba was kind of proven, he had the car to beat early. But
and it got me nervous when Hamlin started making his move up there.
And, I know, when I saw him get to the front.
Here we go, Kansas.
The lead kept just changing. It was like no one could really like take the race over. I think they said something like 57 lead changes during this entire race among 14 drivers. So, it just shows how competitive you were in the draft. And this racetrack is just impressive of how fast it is, how it races like a drafting track. And stage two did not disappoint. You saw my boy Chase have some problems in the pits, and that's another crazy thing about this track, right? Is it's like 10 or 15 feet shorter in the pits, so he just slid right through his pits, and then he backed up, and it looked like he went out back behind it and had to come back in. I'm like, just what are you doing, man? But he was
that's what Hocevar missed it. Hocevar missed it, had to come back around just because of how fast you have to enter. Well, I shouldn't say fast, but as you're coming on the track, you're entering way earlier than you were at a super speedway.
Right. Yeah. You didn't see anybody spinning out like you do at a speedway, like locking them up and flying through the infield. But the pits in this race had some bearing on how the race ended. So
it was from the beginning. Even just looking all the way up to stage two, I don't know if it was me because, I like 2311 and I'm watching specific drivers, but it looked like Tyler Reddick knew that track front to back, because it seemed like as he would hit his line and go into the turn, there could have been a car, half length off of him. And then it was like 4 or 5 lengths, but then the lead started changing and Reddick started to fall back to the middle of the pack, which was really, really weird.
I just kind of thought he was done at that point. You didn't hear his name until, the final stage. So there was a late caution. Yeah.
There was a late caution in stage two?
In stage two, it was around 161, something like that. It's when Kyle Larson spun out. And he did a Texas lane change from the far left, and it took a hard right exit.
Well, it was funny because the audio was just absolutely fantastic when he was like, what happened? And he's like, my fault that you were 3 wide. He goes, I was at 3 wide. He's like, nobody was 3 wide. You cleared the one car, but there was another car down low that I didn't tell you about.
Yeah. And And
Um,
again, that's just, as another caution that came out, it locked the field. It got Bubba the stage win, and so I'm sure he was just licking his chops at that point, like
what's
ready to get this race over.
yeah, well, I feel like Bubba's like my brother. And my brother would, if I was Tyler Reddick, my brother would be like, "No, I need to win this freaking race because my brother is not winning again." Like I feel like that.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah,
this
yeah.
weird family. Like, yeah, I'm happy for
Competitive
him.
dynamic. Yeah,
Yeah, but a little bit more. Like, yeah, I'm happy you won, but mother,
yeah,
it's not
exactly.
me.
Yeah,
When did
yeah.
Bush got into a wreck? Um, was it
Was it?
stage two?
I think it was in stage 2. Yeah, yeah,
And he made the comment, this is just, we got to figure out how to deal with the kids.
yeah. And I think that was a direct comment to our OCH
But
Carson.
what's crazy is Carson helped him win in the truck.
He did. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and that's
He
Kyle, though,
pushed him
right?
to
If
the lead.
if, if you're not if you're not helping him win or allowed him to win, then f you.
Well,
I'm gonna.
and it's funny because, you look at the way the race transpired and, you know, listening to the announcers pick who they were going to pick.
Mhm.
Who picked Carson Hocevar? Was that Le,
It was.
who? It
Are you
wasn't.
saying a driver or
No, one of the announcers.
one of the announcers?
Yeah, it
Probably
wasn't.
Jeff. Um, God, why
It
am I
wasn't
drawing a blank?
Harvick. It wasn't. No, it
Clint.
wasn't.
Clint
That's who it
Boyer.
was.
It's Clint Boyer. I
Yeah,
mean, there's only 3 of them. It's Clint,
it
Mike,
was
or
Clint.
Kevin.
It was Clint Boyer,
Yes.
and he was. I mean, they were all hot on Hocevar. But then it's funny
Yeah.
because I heard Richard Petty say that, the way Earnhardt drove, he didn't really give a shit about you. He
No.
gave a shit about one thing, and that was winning.
No.
And
Winning the
he did
race.
what he
He wasn't
did.
there to make friends. Yeah.
And I forgot where I either heard it, watched it, read it, but Earnhardt is still a top 5 selling driver in terms of merch.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it.
So this is what's conflicting. This is what I'm driving at with this. This race was pretty cool, even before stage 3. I did watch this race front to back also, my guy. So I'm feeling pretty
Hey, he's 2
NASCAR.
for 2.
I'm feeling pretty NASCAR right here.
Oh
So
my God.
it's
Let me see the back of your hair. Do you got a mullet yet? No.
almost. So it's like I'm watching the race and and I'm flipping through social media a little bit and reading some past posts, and then of course the race is over and I'm reading some current posts. Everybody loves Earnhardt. They loved his style. He's the guy. But if Carson Hocevar does it, he's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Except for a handful
Unless,
of folks. Yes.
unless he wrecks the 22 car.
Well, yeah. I mean, how did
And,
the T-bone was great.
I watched it like a dozen times.
I know you sent
I
it to
sent
me,
it to you. I sent
and it's funny you sent it to me because when it happened, I stopped it and rewound it and was like, Liam. So I yell for my son, comes running out, and he's like, "Oh, T-Boone Logano!" Like, and then I show Wendy, and it's like, then you text me, and I'm like, "See, I just look. We're both thinking the same thing.
Heck
It was
yeah.
identical times. It was
There goes my hero.
just man, he lost. That sucked for him. Even though
Yeah.
I'm not like that sucked. Like that wreck sucked
Well,
for a lot of people.
I went from ha ha look, he just T-boned Logano until he tried to shoot the gap and he shoved Bell in the wall, and I'm like, oh
Yeah. Well, what gap? Number one.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
I
Well,
get
it
it.
was
I
like
saw
this
it
big.
early. I saw it early, and then it just disappeared. But it was that wreck was wild because I didn't think, and this is clearly stage three,
Yes. Yes.
and the race itself was, I thought it was good. I really did. I thought the race was good all the way through. Stage three just got it super exciting. And what was wild is I picked Reddick to win.
Oh,
And
yes, you did. Yes,
and so
I saw
I
the
had
points.
Reddick, Bell, I even put Chase Elliott in there. I thought for
Yeah.
sure he was gonna get, but anyways,
Yeah.
watching Reddick lose that front fender, go back
I
down in the
thought
pits.
yes.
It's over.
You're
But his
done.
car was still
Oh, you
fast,
know what?
man.
Here we go. Pull out the tinfoil hats because all the conspiracy theories that I read online about, it's rigged. It's rigged because no one can lose a fender in a drafting race and be that fast. It wasn't that he was fast. It was that he put himself in the right place at the perfect time.
Yeah. Well, he was
He
running
just,
lines pretty good too. So regardless if his car was fast or not, his lines were like locked in.
yeah. I mean, he had the Fords were able to lock together and make their way to the front, and then they stayed that way, and they were able to stay in line and lock in. Again, the Chevys were just like, how do we get up there? I don't know. And then the Toyotas would get out front, and then they get too far out front, and it's like the
Correct.
Fords were just like biding their time. But Tyler Reddick, man, I got to give it to him. I got to give it to him to be able
He
to put
raced his
yourself
ass
in
off.
position. He did. I mean, that's what you said. Like, what was it you text me about? I'll give him one thing. He raced the tires off this rust bucket or
He
something.
did.
Yeah,
That rust bug.
yeah,
But what was, I read some conspiracy theories too, but it wasn't that you couldn't draft that way. I was reading the air through that was providing him like drag to other drivers around
oh,
him.
unfair advantage. Oh gosh, yes,
But realistically, all that needed to happen, which is true because of the way the air goes up over the car, it's just the front needs to be taped down. And if you
yeah,
looked at his car, not it wasn't just his car, there was quite a few cars. They just taped the front fender
yeah,
so perfectly flush that
yeah.
that's where you're getting it. And
He didn't even have a right fender. I think it was like he was
no, it
running
was
some
gone.
open modifieds.
It
Yeah,
was completely
yeah,
gone. But that was I mean, the track looked packed. It was cold and windy, and there's still way more people there towards the end of the race than I thought would be based on just the weather alone.
hmm
I I didn't really have any. I mean, I didn't have any money on it, but I didn't have any gripes. I thought it was a freaking fantastic, technically third race for the season.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, uh, for for NASCAR to only be in their second points race of the season, I feel like it's been
Yes,
2 months in as far as everything that's been going on so far. So, I mean,
yeah,
to think about it, we've gone to, I want to say a short track, but I mean, it was a circle, a quarter
it
mile
was a
track
parking lot.
to
It was a parking lot.
yes, to a super speedway to, one of the fastest mile and a halves we have on in the entire circuit. And now to a road course. I mean, they're just lining us up, bam, bam, bam. And then, I mean, I don't want to think too far ahead, but then we go to short track racing out in Phoenix, and it's going to be amazing. I mean, they got this schedule locked in, you know.
Yes,
But
and again, it's good. I think
yeah,
it's good.
so let me ask you a question. So I think we were kind of aware of the seven. Are you aware of the 7 car rule that they have this year, where each team's only allowed to have 7 cars?
Total, right?
So total
Like backup
cars.
cars and stuff. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, they got 7 cars in their garage, right? So, I mean, I was thinking about this today, like the 24 car, for instance, right? The 24 car went to Daytona. He wrecked in the duels, and they had to pull his backup car out.
And
And then he
investigate.
goes to Atlanta, and he wrecks his Atlanta car. I mean, we're only 2 points races in, and that dude's almost out of it, half of his Now, again, I don't know if that car at Atlanta was his backup car from Daytona. I don't know. I doubt it. I doubt it because they're not set up right. But
I
I
don't
mean,
know,
I
man.
kind of
He's
feel
got
like,
Jeff Gordon. He's got Jeff Gordon, baby.
well, never count Hendrick out. But I'm wondering, do you think that maybe that this take out Carson Hocevar? He doesn't. I don't think he realized he only has 7 cars. All right, but do you think maybe that the conservativeness of the drivers and the teams are coming from, hey man, take care of my car. We only have 7 of these. I mean, don't get me wrong. You can take that beat up car back to the garage and beat and bang on it and get it ready for a couple of weeks later. But at the same time, I mean, you start bending those cars up too much, they're just not going to race the same. So that's got to play a little bit into the strategy of the season.
You know who comes to mind? Kozlowski.
Yeah, I mean, because
Kozlowski,
he's an owner.
yeah. Watching him race, I don't love him. I don't hate him. I want him to win sometimes because he's always up there. He's always doing his thing. Yeah, he's got some choice words that are sometimes funny, but
Yeah.
I feel like he's that guy that we're going to see mid-season, unless something crazy happens, and you're going to start seeing him climb in points based on the way he's been driving. He's close enough, but not all the way there. And somehow he's been missing all of these major. I don't think he got even tore up at all. What was there? 28 of the 38 cars or whatever got into a wreck.
Oh, it showed a list of like, these are the only cars that have not been involved in a wreck. It's like 6 cars.
So
Yeah.
I don't, I look at teams like 2311 because I'm following them more closely than any other team.
Right.
You look at Reddick's car, and you're right. How much can they bang and clang and try to piece together where that car is going to do? What's it going to do? I mean, where are you going to use that car? It's like a super short track, or it's not going to do very well on a road
track. I mean, no. Well, I mean, maybe you don't need speed; you just need handling. But I don't know, man. No one's going to show up to the track missing fenders. I can tell you that much.
I would like to know, truthfully, because I don't. Maybe you do. At what point can you not race anymore?
Yeah, so
in the race
NASCAR,
with a car like that.
NASCAR has a minimum speed, right? I mean, the rules have changed back and forth over the last 3 or 4 years when I kind of stopped watching it. But they at one point had a rule where when your car wrecked, you got put on this 5-minute clock, and you could only spend like 5 minutes of time in the pits to repair the car. And then when you went back out on the track, you had to meet a minimum safe speed to go around the track. You couldn't just be driving around the track at 45 miles an hour, down at the bottom just to finish the race. So NASCAR does require a minimum race speed. I think they did away with the whole 5-minute thing. And just now it's just like, beat the car up,
tape it down,
bang it, put some bare bond tape, some 100-mile-an-hour tape on it, and send them back out and see if they can maintain or cut a fender off. Apparently, as long as I think you're not taking any of the safety stuff off the car, then they're like, all right, go do it, get out there.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna look into that because I'd be curious because let's say a couple fenders come off. And
right.
You still got all your safety stuff, but these fenders are gone. Like, at what point are they like, no?
Yeah, like that car. I mean, if you go back and look at some of the older races from like the late '90s and early 2000s, you see guys running around there with like
no hood,
no front end, and it's just looks like an open modified car with
looks like a super sweet dirt track car.
Yeah. And they're doing that. They're just kind of racing around the bottom, staying out of everybody's way. But
there was
a shot to win. That's points racing. That's where points racing came into because it's like I can't finish. I need to at least not finish last and get some sort of points out of this and get my car back on the track. So I think you're going to start seeing a lot more of that this season just because now we're points racing again. So you take something away and this goes away, and you bring something back, and now this forces them to bring this back. So it's definitely going to be interesting. I'm very interested in this next race. Like, I'm not a big Well,
Road
that's
course.
why I wore. Well, I am because
Your
that's
little
why I wore my
Ferrari.
Ferrari hat. Wore my Ferrari hat this week since we're going road course racing. We're going to have some right turns, and
What's yeah? Well, it's a little scary.
yeah, yeah.
Turning right is scary.
So, and and then did you catch the end of the race when they interviewed Carson Hocevar? What he said about? Oh no, it wasn't Carson. It was Bubba. Bubba like wrote himself off for next week. He's like, man, I'm just gonna go see what
Yeah, I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
do
go
my
mess up
best, but
next
I'm
week, and
looking
I'm gonna do my best not to make myself look stupid or something, you know. And so he already that guy's probably spending all of his days right now in the
in
simulator
the
trying to
sim.
make sure that trying to make sure
You
that
know
he
what?
remembers his left turns and
I
right turns.
appreciate that though. I appreciate that he's honest with himself because most athletes are not,
Yeah,
right? Most athletes are like,
right.
"Yeah, I'm gonna
Like
freaking
we're
tear
gonna
it up."
go win.
Yeah, he was
Like, no,
just
you're
like,
not.
"Nah, this isn't my
And
thing."
then SVG jumps in to in the back and says, "Are you sure about that?"
Yeah. Well,
I
we
don't
just gotta
think so,
hope
mate.
Carson knocks him out. Is what you got.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
got.
Hey,
That's what you got.
hey. You know what? You know what? There's always hope.
Wait, who
You
won
know,
Coda last year? Didn't Bell win Coda last year?
he did. Yeah, yeah. He did.
I
Yeah.
actually felt
So,
bad for him in Atlanta because
man,
he was out. Like there was no Bell. There was no but it was
he
part
got
of
it
his
wrong.
strategy.
He got
He said it
run.
was yeah, he said it was his strategy. He was going to wait and wait. And then he gets to the front and it was
And then he
nothing.
got Carson. You know what? Hey, let me ask you this: could you imagine switch Bell and Bubba's spot, and then Carson put Bubba in the wall?
That's a
Then what do
fight.
you think?
That's a fight.
Oh, that's what I want to see. That's
That's
the
a
way I want to
fight.
see. That's
That is a
what I
fight.
need to happen. That's
I
what
truly
that,
believe Bubba Wallace would have fought Carson.
he's
It
like.
wouldn't
We're
have been a
going
good
hands.
fight.
No, no, it would have been over before it started, but it would have been
Correct.
worth watching it.
Yeah, it would
Absolutely
have
been
been.
worth watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I was the other day I was watching I forgot what it was, but it was a Carson Hocevar episode. It was something for NASCAR on Netflix. It was Up and Comers or something.
Oh,
But anyways, there's a specific episode on Carson Hocevar. And
was he driving around in Dale Earnhardt's truck?
he owns it.
Is that?
He bought it off
Oh
Facebook
yeah,
Marketplace.
yes. Is that the
Well,
episode? I think I saw
yeah.
that.
He goes into it's just the one thing he said. And it made me understand him more. He still says, I'm cocky, I'm arrogant, and I know that. But he goes into his parents' house. He actually pulls out, Earnhardt's little truck diecast. He had all these little diecast cars all over the place in his bedroom. His mom and dad had kept. And then he goes into the living room and he goes, "Oh, that's the Hocevar corner." And he's got all these trophies and medals and stuff of his. And then the cameraman's like, "Holy cow!" And he's like, "Yeah, this isn't it." And then they go into a separate room, and it is. I don't think I've ever seen somebody with a room like that with their children's trophies. And
Was
he
this during the
said,
participation trophy season or what?
"No, dude, it was." So he was like, "Yeah, this is every single race that I won, et cetera, et cetera." And then he's like, at a certain point in this room, I wasn't having fun because I was always winning.
Oh,
And he goes,
wasn't good.
it stopped being a challenge. He's like, so
Huh.
friends would call me and he was like, I was trying to figure out like my mental state. He's like, my friends would call and they'd be like, yeah, I just raced 4 races, man. And I placed, fifth in one of the heats and I feel really good. How did you do? And he's like, I won all
I
4
won.
age brackets. Like he said and I can see that he probably was dominating. I never watched him then, but I'm sure he's dominating like hell as a kid. But
How
to
old
see
is this
that
guy?
he's 23 years old.
Oh wow. Okay.
So when I heard him say that, I realized like he was just dominating all the way until now. And he's got the mentality of, I just want to win again. Like I haven't won. Spire's given him quote unquote lifetime contract. There's no date end. Because I joked, well, my wife was like, imagine if 2311. I said, stop. He's with Spire. He ain't, he's not going anywhere.
It
But
just sounds just like that too.
she does not like that. And, it's crazy because you look at like the rest of the team, Suarez, and they all don't really like each other. It's evident, but this kid just wants to win again, and he hasn't won. And the fact that he helped Bush get across the finish line in the truck race
Yeah.
shows a lot about him. Like he's aggressive. He could probably be careless because he's younger and he thinks he's going to bounce back no matter what. Feels invincible,
Yeah.
but I like it. I think it's good for
Good for the
NASCAR.
sport. You
I
know, the
didn't
only
like that
people
it was
complaining
Bell.
about it is the drivers. I mean, I do hate it for that. We're going to love him until he wrecks our driver, and then we're going to like, that asshole.
I know.
You know,
Well, he did kind of wreck Bell, and I was like, "You son
he
of a
did.
bitch!"
And you know, and that was my bitch of the week too.
Well,
You know, yes. Like,
well,
how
let's
are you
get
gonna?
to it. That's your
Let's
bitch of
do
the
it.
week, right there.
All right.
Penny's bitch of the week,
The 20 car. How you gonna let
Baby
Carson
Bell.
do that to you, man? Come on. And then you know what's funny is, have you heard a word from C Bell all
Nope.
week long about
Nope.
what happened?
And you know what?
So that tells me one of two things. Either one, he's just like, it's okay, it's racing. Or two, we're going to COTA and I'm gonna
fuck him.
I'm gonna bury that dude. I'm gonna bury that dude. I'm gonna dump him.
We were calling him
because that's
Baby
what
Bell
Baby
all
Bell.
Sunday. Baby
Well, that's what Kevin Harvick flat out came out and said. It's like, how do you deal with Carson Hocevar? And he's like, I'm going to wreck him the first chance I get. Because that's how I do it. That's how I'm going to deal with it. I'm going to wreck him. And so I'm wondering how many drivers, probably a lot, watch his podcast, and they're probably going to be like, hey, you know what? That's exactly what I'm going to do. Now, he did it so to the point where I think for Junior had to have him on his podcast, Carson, that is, and he asked Carson, how many drivers do you hang out with at the track? And he said, none.
I have no friends.
And he has no friends. So it's like, if you don't have friends off the track, you're not going to have any friends on the track, sir. So it's an interesting dynamic that's going to play out of, you know, you at least need teammates. You got to.
Well, did you hear him when they went to his car, to his audio? And they're like, Carson, do you have us right now? And he's like, yeah, what's up, guys? Like, so what's the plan? He's like, I think I'm just going to hang out behind Bubba and we're going to shake and bake because I don't have anybody else. I don't have anybody else around me that's going to help me. And then he started calling out the drivers. He's not going to help me because of this. He's not going to help me because of this.
Right.
But even from that show, he said, I don't care. That's not what I'm here for anyways.
Right.
But I also understand that, you know, you look at some of the drivers and, you know, they may visit, they go to concerts together. They have to take summer vacation, you know, with their families, whatever. But he's also 23. He's not relating to a lot of the other guys.
No.
Maybe if he slid into O'Reilly or Arca, he might fit in. But he's not fitting in with a lot of those guys, especially guys like Kyle Busch. Yeah, but Logano, they're just way older. They got kids, family. It's not happening.
Yeah, it's not. He said one time he hung out with Bubba and SVG on like at Bubba's property, but it was just like a whatever. Hey, whatever.
Everybody got invited.
I guess he said, and he's like, and then I left. It's like it wasn't a thing, you know. But
it's crazy. So,
but then we got next week.
We do, but let's give me something to learn about Atlanta. Why is Atlanta, for folks that are just tuning in, what is it? What makes Atlanta special?
Atlanta is one of those tracks that is not a super speedway.
But a lot of guys say it is. They're like,
but it races.
Super
it's a drafting track. It's so fast. The straightaways are so fast that you have to draft that track. And so the craziest thing I guess you could say is that the only thing that Atlanta, and it changed, you know, the track changes when the cars change. So if NASCAR makes a change to the cars as far as we're going to raise the spoiler or lower the spoiler or do something to the front end of the cars or lower the cars, that does change the dynamic of the race a little bit. But the big thing with Atlanta is it's a fairly smooth track. So you never heard anything throughout the entire race of, you know, I need to come in and get I got to get all new tires because these tires are
Yeah,
getting
some
eaten
guys
up.
are
I mean,
staying out with just two junk
yeah,
ass tires.
just give me fuel. Just give me fuel and let me go, or just give me two right side tires. So the track is unique in the fact that it doesn't chew up tires. It races like a super speedway, but it's not a super speedway. So you don't have the restrictor plate racing. The you have to go a lap and a half around the track before you can even get up to full speed. So you don't
Correct.
have that problem. And then couple that speed with a pit box that's as big as a sardine can that you have to squeeze into. So you got, which we saw those problems happen. So that would be that's what I would say makes that track unique. I haven't never been to that track. It's one of the tracks on my list I'd love to go visit
And they just
and
redid it,
see.
right?
They redid it. I remember years ago, and again, I have to say years ago. I'm probably saying it had to have been more than 20 some years ago. That at one point they took the track and changed the start finish line, and
Yeah.
then they inverted it and put the start finish line on the on the on the backstretch, and so it made the track unique in that way. They basically just inverted the entire track. Now I don't
And
know
then
when
they
they
built
redid.
those apartments or hotel right there
Right.
so you could
Yes.
overlook the track as well.
Right. That apparently Logano lived in for some sort of period of
Oh,
time. I don't know.
stop it.
I don't care. I don't even know why I said that. I don't even know why I said that.
Well, what are you looking forward to this coming week? They're going to
So
Austin, Circuit
I'm
of
hope
the Americas.
first thing I hope is that I hope we finally get to see some qualifying. I would love to see some qualifying. And then, you know, I don't know how many people enjoy. There's a lot of people that don't enjoy road course racing. I mean, it's not the. I have to admit, it's not the funnest race to go watch because you see one corner. It's like, and then you wait about 2 minutes, and then they see them again. You know, but for TV, I mean, TV, it's fantastic. It's kind
Yeah.
of one of those things where COTA turns into a strategy race. You know, where it's the smartest pit call that matters, not the speed, right? So a lot of the crew chiefs like to break the track down into, you know, you start backwards, right? You start like I can go 50 laps at the end, and then you work your way back. So you might see some strategy come into play where, you know, 15 laps into the race, they pit, and you're like, why are they pitting so soon? Well, it's because they're setting themselves up for a long run at the end of the race, and I think you're going to see a lot of that racing where strategy comes into play. Road courses, you can make a mistake. Just, you know, you don't need a wreck to take you out. You can just have one bad corner and spin out or get a penalty or any of that,
Yep.
and you're done. You know, you got to deal with you're going to hear this term a lot. You're going to hear wheel hop. You're going to hear them talking about wheel hop and
That's my favorite part.
missing braking zones, or
Yep.
you know, the track limits where they shoot through the chicane and they miss the chicane. They just have to go straight, so they got to come to a complete stop and then go again. You're like, what in the world's going on here? And again,
I play NASCAR 25, guy. I spin out every time. Every time I spin out.
yeah. So I mean, one mistake can take you from fifth to 20th in you know, in a corner. You know, you'll see a lot of tandem wrecks. You know, it looks like they're out there dancing together, but it's two cars bumping each other, and they'll slide off the track together. That's pretty cool. But yeah, you don't have to get yourself wound up as far as missing the big one. There's no big ones here. There's not going to be a big one. I mean, you might see them all piled together
Yeah.
in a hairpin, but but not to the point where like, okay, my car's done. You know,
Correct.
the track itself will punish a driver though if they go off the track and they get caught in they put like gravel out there, so the car just sinks down in the gravel and it's stuck. You know, so it's not like they
It's
just spin out and
wild.
can get back on the track.
You could have a pack of cars and your driver could be just cruising, and he just a half a second in one turn and a half a second in that next turn, and it's over. They're not, unless people start bunching up and slowing it down for some reason, the pack will just take off, and then that's where they start to stretch out in all these road courses.
Yeah, I mean,
But
this road course, if you think about it, it's only 95 laps long. Think about it. So
it's long though. That's
yeah, it is. It is. Yeah. Lap 20 and 45 is the stages on this one. 20 and 45.
20 and 45.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's what's funny is as we're doing this weekly and talking about NASCAR and finding out what's working and what's not working, I start to laugh that NASCAR mixes all of these things for everyone. They change these things to make the schedule better. You know, you add a couple of road courses to break up the constant left turns. They do this. They do another piece, but people are still, we need to change the spoiler and let us go faster. And there's all these different, like, it's so funny that people complain so much, yet visually, I haven't been to a race this year yet, but visually, the stands are way more packed than they were last year. The ratings are way up. Yes. And I mean, what else do you want that's going to change? Like right now it's on Fox, right? So it feels good. Of course it's going to shift, but that happens. You can look at any other sport and that happens. You could be watching your favorite baseball team on Thursday on Fox and you got to turn to FS1 or FS2 because, and maybe you don't have it. Most of the time you don't have it. At least NASCAR has Tubi.
Yeah.
you can at least get that
free no less.
Yeah. So it's to me, I said at the beginning that I thought that this year was going to be really cool, and every race I get more excited. Like literally every race I get more excited. So who do you got? Who do you got for COTA? Who do you got winning?
Man, you're gonna be shocked. You're gonna be shocked when I'm joining the bandwagon on this one. Mm-hmm. Tyler Reddick. Tyler Reddick's good at this track.
No, he is. He is good at road courses.
He could actually. So let me tell you something. Winning builds an impressive amount of confidence.
And momentum, like the whole team.
The momentum, the team's peaking, and the communications with the team. He's historically already good at that track. So, I mean, he can three-peat this weekend. Absolutely. So, yes, again, here's your chair. Have a seat. Have a seat right here, 2311. Let's talk some racing. I think they have a very good chance of pulling it out.
Yeah. I mean, he does. He does. Yeah. Reddick is good at road courses. He's not the best, but he is good.
I'm not picking the obvious. I'm not picking SVG.
No, I wouldn't pick SVG. Bell, I'm hoping for Bell because last year is where Bell got his momentum race before, and then he won COTA, and it just kind of propelled him along a little bit.
It did. Yeah, you got some good games last year after that.
So I'm going to go with Bell.
Okay.
But you know who I don't. But I am kind of sad for Chase Elliott, man. He either needs to get a better personality and start telling us how he really feels.
Well, we know that's not going to happen. So what else do you got?
Can he pay attention just a little bit? Just a little bit.
I mean, does he need to drink a Red Bull before the race? Is he falling asleep in the car?
I feel like he's just
hits the cruise control button, right? Like, hey, are we there yet?
Yeah, and then the last thing I'll say about Atlanta is my wife she found out that Larson is half Asian, right?
Oh boy. Oh.
So I like Kyle Larson.
She got a man crush on him now?
Yeah. Well, no, she had no idea he was half Asian. You didn't.
His name's not Cryo Russian.
No. Kyle Larson. So she's like, let's go, Kyle Larson. And I found it funny how he's driving the Valvoline. The one time he's not driving HendricksCars.com.
Yes.
And he just...
Valvoline's like, come on, you go.
So he's been a surprising non-existent driver so far. And I know it's only been a handful of races, well, less than a handful of races, and point wise, it's only been 2 races. But like, I just expected these guys to be maybe better, or maybe just the field is getting tighter as far as how good they are and how well the teams are working together with themselves. But it's pretty crazy not to see 24, 5, 9. Logano somehow, I don't know how he
Even
does it.
48, even the 48 car is historically good at this track. And I'm not saying Jimmy Johnson historically.
No,
I'm
yeah,
saying
yeah.
current 48.
Bowman,
Bowman.
Alex Bowman.
Yeah, he's actually good at COTA. So
I don't
who
think
knows,
Alex. You said it, and I agree with you. I don't think Alex Bowman is with
going to
Hendricks
stick around. Yeah. Yeah, this could be his.
2027.
Hey, who knows? He could be out and maybe Hocevar will be in.
Spire. He'll go to Spire, and
Yes,
they'll do a
switch
trade.
cars. Yeah, yeah. They'll swap for a first round draft pick.
Well, this is a different format for us. I still think it went very well. We got through stage 1, 2, and 3. Reddick is rocking. You picked Reddick for COTA. I've picked Bell. We've learned a little bit
I
about
only did it because I know it's going to backfire.
I can't believe I won fantasy this past week.
I sent you the spreadsheet, by the way.
Yeah, I actually saw it when I got back to the hotel room. I log in, and I open it up because I couldn't open it on my phone. And so I opened it up, and I'm like, "Didn't you made a spreadsheet for fantasy?"
Heck yeah. I mean, there could be $1 race. I don't know. It could be. I don't know.
Yeah, it's $1 a race for all of us, and then the winner takes all at the end. I think it's fun. You know what?
Patent pending.
Tomorrow, you should, or even after we get off, you should text the group and see how many times Wendy was changing drivers up until the start of the race.
Kelly did the same thing, and everyone she put in wrecked.
She's like, "Who did you pick?" I was like, "I'm going against you. I'm not telling you who I'm picking."
Yeah.
And she's like, "But I don't know."
I gave her some. I take that back. She didn't ask me for help. I injected some help, and everyone that I made suggestions to her, they wrecked.
Well, I told Wendy, I said, "You only can use them 10 times." So I know. Bet she had Hamlin. I bet she had Larson. I bet she put. She had to have put some 2311 drivers down there because that's the other one.
So she won't tell you who she had?
I
you
didn't
can't
want
go
her
back
to
and
show
see
me.
who everybody else has.
Yeah, but you can open it back up and it doesn't change if you don't change it. You can see who you had.
Who you have, but you can't see anyone else.
No.
Yeah. All right. Well.
Yeah, I had Chase Elliott, I had Reddick, I had Bubba, I had Bell. I did have Logano because
I did too.
when he got T-boned, I was like, yeah.
I'm like, oh wait, I had him. It's like fantasy football. It makes you root for a team you don't want to win.
Yeah, but it's fun. I think this is good, and I'm excited for COTA. It'll be better on TV than it'll be in person, and yeah, we get to see what everybody's got to complain about from now until COTA.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, folks, thanks for tuning in, checking it out. Hope you learned something. If you got questions, leave them down in the comments. If you don't, you don't. And we don't like Logano. We don't care what you think. And if we say something about your favorite driver, tough titty said the kitty, but the milk's still going to be good on this side.
Ooh.
I'm Jay. That's Jenny. Later.
Quick, fast laughs. If you ain't first, buddy, you're last. Yeah.